Hello ladies and gentlemen, Alex here with PowerMES, and today I have a video for you guys on the top 13 my favorite features on the Samsung Galaxy S3. So without further ado, let's get started with number 1. Now, I have always been a fan of the physical home button, whether it be on the iPhone or different phones. A physical home button would actually make me consider buying an iPhone for that very reason. Now, I think that the home button makes it a stellar addition to the Samsung Galaxy S3. The second top feature on the Samsung Galaxy S3 would definitely be its side power button. Coming from the HTC One X, this is a great improvement. Number 3. This item actually made me buy the Samsung Galaxy S3. Well, it was a factor. The 8 megapixel autofocus camera on the Samsung Galaxy S3 does an amazing job with pictures and video quality. The LED flash makes this phone perfect for low light conditions, lighting up the area. One thing that I'm glad Samsung has introduced in this phone that I think has been lost on the era of new cell phones is a removable back. This is helpful for getting access to the battery, the SIM card, and your micro SD card. Now, moving away from the hardware, let's step into a little bit of software. I am so glad that Samsung pushed out the 4.1 Jelly Bean update, making it so that it now has Google Now. Another thing that I really like about this phone is the front-facing camera. Usually the front-facing cameras on the phone are usually just VGA quality and not that good. But this one is actually really good, and I find it useful when I have to... Now I know this is going to sound weird, but when I have to check myself out or just look at my hair and make sure everything's good before I see someone or whatever it may be, it does come in handy to see a good front-facing camera on a device. Now, something that Samsung is still ahead of in the cell phone market game is the 2 gigs of RAM that they put on board the S3. This comes very helpful when you run multiple applications at once and for when you're multitasking, because you don't have to close the apps because your phone is running slow. Now, something that I really like on this phone, which I know I've been saying that a lot, but there's a ton of things I like, is the screen on this phone. Samsung has done this really cool thing where they turn off the pixels whenever they need to put a black pixel in there. So this picture of my friend longboarding has a dark scene, and you could see that the darks are really crisp, and they're a lot better than any other phone that I've ever had. So I really like that they incorporated this feature, and I'd like to see it introduced on other phones. For number 9, I had to talk about the speaker on this phone. The speaker is amazing quality. It gets really loud, which can be helpful when you're listening to music. Now, with 3 to go, I figured that I had to include the construction of this phone in the video. It is a thin layer of plastic, and by thin I mean extremely thin. Also, I think that the plastic makes it more of a light and I wouldn't say cheap feel, but I mean if it were a better material, I think it would have added more value to the phone. Now, Samsung has introduced a lot of new features with their software, and something really cool is Smart Stay. Now, I talked about this in my review, and it is where an eye pops up, and it makes it so that your screen doesn't turn off. Now, I talked about this earlier, and I said that the Samsung Galaxy S3 comes equipped with a micro SD card slot, and it's on the back of the phone after you remove the back, and you just pop it out and insert your micro SD card. Now, a thing I need to talk about on the Samsung Galaxy S3 is the GPU on it. The GPU is like no other phone I've ever seen. It can run games perfect and with no stutter or no lag. This game, Bike Racing, somewhat represents it well, and I mean, it's not exactly the best game, but I mean, it shows that there's going to be no lag when you play any type of game on it. Now that is going to be the last feature on my 13 features that I was going to talk about on the Samsung Galaxy S3. I'm Alex from PowerMES, and thank you for watching.